I was listening to a podcast about a week or so ago by the guys over at Choose FI. And the topic of discussion was all about inclusion and how they could include African Americans in the journey of FIRE. So it got me to thinking about a video that I wanted to do that I'm going to give to you guys today. Is the FIRE movement for the African American? Can it be done by the average African American? Let's go. What's good, YouTube? My name is Oliver, known to you guys as Another Tech Guy, and I'm on a mission to pay off $145,000 in debt, eventually putting myself in a position to be financially independent. So if you're here to be inspired to watch me pay off this $145,000 in debt, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when I upload more content. So today's video was born out of a question that I had for myself. Is it attainable for the African American to become financially independent? Can we participate in this FIRE movement? So if you've never heard of the podcast Choose FI, I'll throw a link down in the description. But Jonathan and Brad have built a community of people who are trying to become financially independent and retire early. Retire early in question because you don't necessarily have to retire if you don't want to. But the whole premise of the movement is to take control of your life, to be in charge of your life and not have to rely on your employer to be there for you. So I really love the podcast. I go there all the time for inspiration to stay grinding on my own grind of paying off the debt and eventually putting myself in a position to become financially independent. So some of you here may not know what FIRE is. The acronym stands for Financially Independent Retire Early. Now, what constitutes financially independence? So rule of thumb is having 25 times your expenses makes you financially independent. So let's hypothetically say you have $2,500 in expenses a month. So 2,500 times 12 would give you what you need in a year. That's $30,000. So $30,000 times 25 would put you roughly at about $750,000 if my math is correct. So let's explore that number, $750,000. Is it attainable for the African American? So what number would I need to invest as a 45-year-old male to attain to this financially independent in 20 years? Because the whole goal is to get there as quick as possible. That's why they call it FIRE. You got to be on fire to reach this number as fast as you possibly can. So how much would I have to invest? And I'm just going to give a mark of 20 years. What would I have to invest over 20 years at an 8% return in the stock market? I would have to invest $1,237 a month for the next 20 years to become financially independent and hit that $750,000 mark. But is it doable for the typical African American? According to the statistics, in 2017, the average black male made $42,000, $42,000 and some change. Now let's break those numbers down. So you get your $42,000, that's 26 checks a year, right? After you pay taxes, we'll roughly say that's 20%. That's $323 per check. Housing, we'll roughly say that's 25%. So that's around $404 per check. Groceries and recreation, we'll just say that's 10% of the budget. That's $161. Insurance that's coming out of your check, we'll roughly say that's $80 per check. And we'll just happen to say you participate In the 401k, you take the employer match of 3%. So that's roughly $48 and some change. So including in that month, that biweekly breakdown, that's how I'm doing it, biweekly. You're talking about your cell phone, your electricity, internet, renter's insurance, liability on your car if you have that, haircut, clothing, Netflix and Hulu, or whatever your cable would need to be. Those are the other intangible things that will need to be taken out of the budget. So what's left out of those numbers gives me $380 per check. So if I get $380 remaining per check, that's roughly $760. This man could never have a car. He could never have a child, because hypothetically, let's just say this man has a child and he pays child support in the tune of $500 a month. He's now down to $260 a month left. So he can't attain financial independence making the average salary of a black man. There's no way if he has a child. Now, if he doesn't have a child, he can't ever have a car, because the average car note in America is around $450, I think. That would remove from the $760. He only has $300 left, roughly. So $300 invested over 20 years, it doesn't get you the $750,000. So it makes it super difficult to attain to financial independence starting late in life. If you are starting the journey late in life, you have to get your hustle on. You have to go out here and find ways to create opportunities, make extra money, however you can do it, whether it's delivering pizzas, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Instacart, whatever you got to do along with your other job. Assuming you have a real, permanent job, you have to look for promotions, any way to get that income up, because you have to be able to be dumping thousands of dollars into an investment account every month in order to reach that number. It's the only way you're going to get there, unless you do something else like maybe flipping houses or real estate investing. It's many ways to get to FIRE, but we're just talking about simple paths to wealth through the stock market. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're faced with today. So I'm going to give a couple of tips of what the average black male can do to reach that number of financial independence. I kind of talked about one of them, but the first one, get on a budget. You have to be intentional with your money. You have to tell your money where to go every single month without a shadow of a doubt. You have to be on a budget. You got to cut out the nonsense. You got to be on the budget. The second thing is getting out of debt, staying out of debt. You have to get rid of your credit cards. If you have student loans, you got to focus on them. Get rid of your car note, because it's killing you. It is absolutely killing you. Without a shadow of a doubt, you have to get rid of that car note. The third tip, side hustle. You have to get your side hustle on. You got to get that income up. You got to get more money coming in. You can't save your way out of this. I mean, there's only so much you can do with $42,000. You have to get your income up. However you can do it, whatever you need to do. If you need to start a lawn service, whatever. I don't care. You got to get that. You got to get your bread up. The fourth tip would be invest in your employer 401k. You have to take the free money. It's 100% return on money you save. No matter what, that's free money that you're leaving on the table if you are not taking it. So you got to take the free bread. Without a question, you got to take it. You got to put something in there. So don't pass up on the employer match. That's a key. That's a major key. My fifth tip is from a movie I watched called, I don't even know the name of it. I'll throw the link in the description. Protect the King, I'm the King, or something like that. A movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. He was a guy getting out of prison and he was taught to play chess. So when he got out of prison, he ended up teaching these young kids to play chess. And one thing that stuck out in my mind that he said in the movie was sometimes we don't see the end game. And he's talking to African American kids. So I put myself in that position as a young kid. We didn't see the end game. We were not taught the end game. So we have to, but our next move can't be just the next move. It has to set us up for the end game in anything that we do. It can't be a next move. So whatever decision you make, you have to make sure that that move protects the king. You're the king. Your next move has to be your best move. So in conclusion, can the African American attain financial independence? The average Black African American would have a difficult time attaining to financial independence without being intentional with their money. But it can be done with minor tweaks. Start early. Don't wait till you're 40 to start saving. Those are the little minor tweaks. But if you're in a situation where you are later in life, you really have to be intentional because your window of time is small. So you have to be extremely focused on that goal, that end game. So to answer the question, is it possible? Yes. Can it be done? Yes. For the majority of African Americans, the statistics say no, it's not. And I hate that is the case. And I watched this guy on YouTube. His name's Tone Talks. He makes excellent content on the plight of African Americans. You should go check out his content. And he talks about the financial desperation of African Americans. You guys got to check out his content if you're even made it this far into the video. But that's the end of this one. I appreciate you guys checking out my videos again. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload more content. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.